Hi guys, welcome back. My name's Hunter and this is Zach.
And this is our best guess.
All right, so today I think we're talking about
Social media, art, this just kind
sort of like a generational
yeah.
topic, more or less, because we found it interesting. It's a very broad subject, but
how the times are changing.
yeah, there you go. How we relate to each other, more or less. We are going to go and continue with our beer shtick. Today we have Red Riot IPA. Riot IPA, I guess is what it's called now, by La Cumbre. Let's see if I can friggin'... There you go. Hey, that one actually looks good, kind of, you know. All right. If you can drink at home with us, we appreciate it, and if not, all the same. Cheers. All right, Zach. You gotta...
Whoop.
Whoop. Whoop.
Thanks, Hunter.
Oh, God.
That's good. The show goes on.
The show goes on. We gotta press forward.
Yeah.
Wow, that was at least I have those around, right?
Yeah, like pretty convenient.
Pardon us, that was unexpected.
It happens. It happens.
It does happen. I have a foam mustache over here. Well, I'm on my mustache. Okay. So I understand Zach has a spiel that he would like to go
Got
on.
a little bit of an introductory to this topic.
Yikes.
Topics are kind of hard to talk about, or like even come up with.
We're in a podcast.
I know.
That's like the whole point.
And it's hard to think of something that's like entertaining enough without being, because we're very dry. We could talk about
Right.
anything.
We're boring sometimes.
And,
It definitely that's true.
So I was talking to my dad, and he was like, why don't you guys talk about movies? Like, you guys like movies, or he knows that I
Right.
like movies.
He likes movies.
And I was like, well, Hunter doesn't like movies. And I don't have a lot of friends who like... Sorry, I don't have a lot of friends who like movies either. And he's like, what do you mean you don't have friends that like movies? Like, when I was younger, that's all we did, is we went to the movie theaters and watched movies.
Right.
And that's the thing I've noticed is a lot of older people, especially like separated from my generation, is they'll quote a lot of movies. Like, there's this guy at work, and he was doing like a wax on, wax off reference to me, and I get it. Like, I've seen Karate Kid, and that's a pretty easy like reference to get, but it's just interesting how like a lot of older people can quote movies, reference
absolutely.
like crazy movies, and then like old people will be like, yeah, I know that movie.
Yeah, and I don't watch movies. I don't like to watch movies. I know that's a little weird, but I just don't like sitting still for that long. It's not entertaining to me. I usually see movies because I'm being either forced to or because... No, that's pretty much it, actually.
And you see, I love movies, but like I grew up watching them with my dad, and like so he was like confused. He was like, yeah, why don't you guys watch movies? Like, what do you mean you guys don't watch movies? And I said, it's kind of not cool. Like, it takes a lot of attention span to like watch a movie.
Right, especially older movies, because they're not as relevant anymore. Obviously.
Right, exactly. And you know, the storytelling is different. The sort of like
the acting,
tension,
the
everything within the film is it holds your attention differently in a different time frame. But even more so than that, I was thinking about, you know, our generation, and I was like, honestly, people don't quote like movies, or they don't know like movies, but everyone could tell you like a vine, like the whole like road work ahead. I sure hope it does. Like it's
yeah, exactly.
It like we have those sort of like references for,
and that's really reflective of our generation. It's short, one line reference to something that is fairly obscure if you think about it. I mean, you can't even find it really anymore. You'd have to go to YouTube to find the Vine, because Vine no longer exists.
Right.
And we have, I guess, TikTok, but
it's not the same.
I'm still highly judgmental about TikTok.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's like Frankenstein.
Yeah. And we refer to a lot of things. Like if I said like Dark Side Kermit, you know what Dark Side Kermit is.
Yeah.
But if I was to ask somebody who doesn't, go online a lot, do you know the Dark Side? It's like the Dark Side Kermit meme. People would be like, what the fuck does that mean?
They might
That's
talk
the
about Star
stupid-
Wars. They might say
Right.
like, "Oh, it's like the dark side, like Darth Vader," and you're
Right.
like, "Well,
Kind
kind of,
of.
but like, no, it's
No.
different." And that's something that I think is really interesting because my dad, he's talking about his generation and going to movies, and I honestly got a little bit sad because I started to think about like wanting to uh, watch movies with people when I was younger, like in school. I'd always, because I like movies,
Right.
and there was a bunch of them that I liked, so I'd always invite people over to like, hey, do you want to come over and watch a movie? No, no one would ever want to come over and watch.
See,
a
my
movie.
friends do that to me a lot. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna watch, horror films or whatever,"
Uh-huh.
and I'm hypercritical of horror films.
Mhm.
Just as a side note, I don't like them. I think they're very boring and very, very predictable. Almost all of them, except Oculus. If you want a good horror movie thriller, that's an actually good one. But otherwise, like that's how I watch movies. Is people like that who are like, we're gonna watch movies today. We're making a decision
Yeah.
that this is like a movie day,
Right.
Like, and I just don't have those. If I didn't have friends like that, I would probably never. I wouldn't even have seen almost all the movies I have seen.
Right, and that's something I think was interesting is like, it's a movie. Like it seems like that's a pretty like for myself, I kind of view movies as like a common thing. Like okay, yeah, everyone wants to see a movie, like or even just everyone wants to see a movie. That doesn't seem like that far of a jump to.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who do watch movies. Like there's a lot of widespread. It's just it's a different kind of art that we're not like participating in as much anymore.
Well, something that I think
with
is
that.
interesting about it is similar to books, similar to other forms of like art or media that previous generations have consumed. It takes a little bit longer of an attention span to watch a movie.
Right, and it's not like a book where you can actually like put it down. It's one of those
Right, like you got to sit through it.
dedication. Yeah,
And if there's one thing that our generation is not notorious for,
it's not attention
it's
span.
attention span, right?
I mean, yeah. We film for an hour, and that doesn't even.
Yeah, good luck. Like,
That's not gonna translate well.
right, exactly.
Pay attention to us. Like, use your attention, all of it.
Try to just sit, like you feel yourself like getting all jittery, like I can't.
Yeah, just
can't
leave
take
it on. I don't even care if you actually watch it.
Yeah,
just leave
just
the
leave it
video
on.
on, walk away, come back. We're probably talking about the same thing. We're not creative.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think it's interesting the whole attention span thing because even like relationships have changed. So like the way I remember, so like instead of going and watching a movie or whatever, it'd be like, oh, did you see this meme? Here, let me send it to you. And then it's like, okay, we want to talk. No, I want to send you a meme. Like that's it. That's the extent of
That's
conversation.
our communication.
Right. That's
It's
that's our level of connection. That's like everything.
Oh yeah, and it's very and they're everywhere. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. They're on Snapchat. I'm super annoyed by people who put memes in their story. That's
Like Snapchat
that's
meme.
really annoying as hell. But they're there too, and it's impossible not to see them as a young person in today's generation because it's inevitable. Even if you only watched YouTube, your YouTubers are probably memers as well.
Well, like
I hate that term.
yeah, the whole thing is like in person. It's people are still memes. Like it's really crazy because you could be trying to have a conversation. And they're like, "Oh, that reminds me of this meme," and you're like, "Oh, okay. Well, can you tell me like something you actually think, not just like a reference to a picture
to
that
a
I don't
meme.
know?" And they're like, "No, I can't have a conversation like at all."
It does happen, yeah. I'm very interested in the way that we treat memes sort of like an all-in-one communication. If you like each other's memes, you get along and are friends.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't jive with that person's sense of humor, you don't get their memes, and thus you don't communicate with them as much. And it's sort of weird to me. I'm perhaps a little too old school for that type of communication because I just don't get it. I'm one of those people who types in full sentences and people get annoyed because they're like, why is this so long? Like, you have to take a minute to read it at the most. Like, it's gonna be fine.
Well, so like for myself, I when I was younger, I would get sad a lot because I don't have a lot of friends, and I didn't have a lot of friends when I was younger. So I liked having friends. Like I wanted friends. I wanted people I could talk to.
Right.
And that pretty much never came to be. Like my dad would tell me all the time, like, why don't you have friends over? Like, why don't you invite them over to a movie? Like, I'll get food, I'll get this. You guys can play video games or something. And I'm like, I've tried inviting people like multiple
Right.
times, and they just don't want to.
Yeah, that's rough, but yeah, it's a part of our communication. We don't get very close to people anymore. A lot of
No.
it is very impersonal. Because I have a ton of, I'm gonna call them internet friends,
Mm.
like people I only talk to online and share memes with, and sometimes we type things to each other like,
Mhm.
"Hey, I got a new job. Oh, congratulations, man!" And then we'll send gifts back and forth for
Mhm.
like an hour, and
Yeah.
that'll be the whole entirety of our relationship. And that,
Exactly.
I mean, I appreciate it, I guess, but it's not the same. It's
Mm.
I wouldn't call them my friends. Like they're not
It
my friends.
it makes me sad. It really makes me sad because like when I was in high school, like freshman year, I had two friends, and like those were my friends. It was just them.
Right.
And they would constantly, like, I would always ask to hang out in person, and they're like, no, no. But then they would tell me about their online friends, like, oh yeah, I was, talking to whoever online, and like, they don't talk, they literally just send memes,
Yeah.
and like, or like play video games. And I was like, well, yeah, but we could like play video games in person, like we can,
Oh, yeah.
have a friendship.
I have people in my life who only want to play video games apart from each other. Like they
Yeah.
dislike playing video games together because
Mhm.
they think it's awkward. And I grew up in the generation of like Nintendo 64,
Mhm.
PlayStation 2, and you sit down next to each other and
Right.
split screen and whatnot, and that's all dying. It's a fallen art for sure.
It's really sad because a lot of my motivation comes from like that idea is like I want more like connection with people
Right.
and like real life connection, not just
There she is.
you're not going anywhere, punk. Shut up.
She's gonna keep screaming at you. Look at her. Look at her. She doesn't even want out. Big ear again?
Yeah.
Nope, she just wanted to yell. She's so confused now.
Yeah, and like
Sorry.
no, like they're fine.
They get it.
They get it, yeah. But like, it's even so like.
I like the way that it feels to be in the same room as a friend.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's fun, it's relaxing. I don't care if we're doing nothing at all and just chatting like that. I enjoy that type of socialism, socializing, socialism.
Socialism.
Well, I enjoy that too, of course.
Mhm.
But no, I enjoy that type of socializing. It's more rewarding than it is just to play online some video game, you know?
Right. Well, something we talk about a lot is like nihilism, and our generation is very nihilistic.
Accidentally so in some
like,
cases.
Yeah, and we don't realize how little like meaning we have, or like how little purpose we have, or like just how kind of empty our universe is. So we separate ourselves like that. But then when you're in a room with another person, like it's nice. Like
It does. It gives it a little more meaning, more intimacy, I guess you would say.
or even like watching something, like watching a movie that takes time for you to get invested in and like think about the ideas and the themes. It's you're sitting with something that someone made. Someone
Right.
made it for you to think a specific way and analyze it to, have a thought to
Right.
for you to feel something.
No, that's true. And, all art works like that, and I don't know a single person who actually likes going to art galleries.
I like art galleries.
I'm not a huge fan of them, honestly. It's, again, one of those things that it's takes a
Mhm.
lot of time, and I just don't like being idle for that long. Which is why I prefer video games. That's my medium of choice. If I have an option, I usually would like to consume art through video games, through interaction. Even things like Explora, I think, are more interesting than, say, an
I
art
like
museum.
Explorer a lot, right?
Simply because it's interactive. I can do stuff with it and learn at the same time without having to.
Right, just
Sit.
like sit there and think.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm also an avid reader of books. You can't use doorknobs. You don't have thumbs.
Get out of here.
There she goes. She'll be
She's
back.
gone. She's gone.
But no, I think art overall has changed quite greatly. There's way different ways that we view art than it was, 4 years ago.
Art's gone very weird. Like there have been certain art pieces that I've seen, or like music, video games, even like the Stanley Parable.
Oh
or
yeah,
like,
there are some just odd things out there, and very
or, like,
nihilistic.
very nihilistic. But what was I like about them is nihilism is kind of hard to like get away from, but with certain art like nihilistic art, you come back to a sort of feeling of like, okay, like, yeah, everything's meaningless, but I experienced this, and
Right,
like,
it's an existentialism. Eventually,
Right.
you give the art meaning because you made it,
Right.
not because it has inherent meaning. It
Right.
is beauty in the eye of the beholder and whatever. Death of the artist, which is still one of my favorite concepts. Death of the artist, for people who don't know, is that the idea that once you create something, you no longer have a say in what it means. It's actually death of the author, but I'm using it as death of the artist as a
Right.
broader term. But yeah, effectively what it is once the author is done with the book and the book goes out and people read it, the meaning is no longer derived from the author at all. It's derived from the reader,
right.
and which is the death of the author. The author has no more say in the piece that they have made.
Which like,
Which I think is, I personally think that's a more fair way to treat art. It's all in the
I think so as well, but
personal derivation that you get from it, emotional feeling.
yeah. But what that kind of leads me to is like, I don't think people don't value art now. I don't think so.
I think people value like personal Etsy art, personal crochets and whatever nonsense. People don't really value that, like the Picasso paintings or the Mona Lisa or things like that as much anymore, just simply because I think mostly because there's such a high variation on art now with the internet out there. We can look at almost any artist
Right.
ever, and you stumble across these artists that photography, digital
Photography is a
art.
joke.
I don't
Photography
know.
is not art. If you're a photographer, kill yourself.
Oh God!
Like,
Why is it always violence with you?
because it's like, it's just sucks. Like, I don't know why photographers exist.
I don't know. There's some pretty cool photographs out there.
Of what?
Just of everything.
Of like nature,
mostly.
yeah,
Yeah.
of nature, the thing that's already cool on its own. Like, oh,
You're
I
mad
was
that
just
they're
here.
trying to spread the natural awareness. That's an interesting viewpoint.
I hate photographers.
Why? That's
It
such
just-
an odd
it
thing
really
to hate. Of
pisses
all
me off,
things,
yeah.
of all the arts that you dislike, photography is it.
Yeah, photography. I actually
Not even just like TikTokers, just photography.
TikTokers, at least, like they put
I really hope you're not about to say effort into it, because I
effort.
swear
They put
to
some
God.
effort and some vision into their
No,
craft.
and you
Unlike photographers,
God, you're just so wrong all the time.
if you're a photographer,
don't-
comment
Don't
your favorite camera in the comments.
Why? Why do you want them to comment their favorite?
Just do it,
camera?
because like, if they have one,
Is this one of those, like, you're just trying to eliminate the competition? Like, if there are no more photographers, you'd be the best one?
no, I am not ever gonna be a photographer.
Yeah, I'm not a huge photography, person, but I do appreciate some good photos. But no, you're right. We have quite a lesser view of art than we used to, I believe. And I think a lot of that is because we do consume so much. We become very numb to the idea of,
Right,
like,
and it becomes very consumption based. So
Yeah.
instead of like spending time with like a friend or something, like having that experience, in this nihilistic existence that we have, we're looking to get something out of it.
right.
Like, we want to, like, if it's not benefiting me monetarily or
Yeah, there's
whatever.
lot of drive toward that mentality of, I guess everything needs to benefit everything.
Yeah.
stay on the grind, I guess, is
Mhm.
really what it is.
Oh, if it's not a TikTok with someone attractive in it, then it's not worth my time. Like,
Right, we're very picky about consumption, which is
yeah,
ironic because we consume so much.
right, exactly.
Which this is funny to me. But yeah, it's an interesting. It's very different with the rise of social media. It's been such a differentiating factor for how people see the world because I mean, we've briefly talked. I don't know if it was on video about um, envy, like the Facebook social media envy that people get. You know, you see a person's perfect life because that's what they put on the internet, and it creates this sort of unhealthy obsession with YouTube creators and big time Instagrammers or TikTokers and whatnot.
Right.
And I don't particularly think it's healthy
I don't think it's healthy, mostly
to
because
idolize things like that.
I don't think it's not healthy to idolize things like that because, like, even for like normal artists, I don't think it's super healthy to idolize that overall because that's what we've done. We've idolized the idea of just being an artist. Like, oh, you like to draw, then be an artist. Go to art school.
Right.
But like some people just can't, and like it's sad to say because
Right. I mean, there's two sides to that argument, which is everyone could be an artist, even if it's bad. You made art.
Right.
It's terrible art, but it's still art, and you are
Right.
technically the artist.
Right.
Of
And
that.
then like
And then the flip side is, yeah, if you want to get good at it,
right.
some
and
people physically cannot.
Right. There's also the
Like me, I can't draw for anything.
Is there objectively bad art or good art? And
Oh,
no,
God.
there's no objective anything. But in terms of subjective,
Nihilism.
yeah, in terms of subjective enjoyment of certain, works of art, when the market is so like flooded with just subjectively bad pieces of art,
Right.
where you're just like, okay, it's
That's
TikTok, like you're just scrolling through hours and hours of video, and then you
I
find
think-
one that kind of is funny. That's it.
That's the satisfaction you get out
Right.
of it. Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's the whole benefit of
Yeah.
doing that for hours.
Yeah.
I think the scroll itself is a very odd thing because everybody knows the scroll.
The
Like,
scroll,
you just
right.
for however long, minutes at a
Until
time.
you find something.
Right. And I that's a very generational thing. Like I remember getting my first smartphone in high school. Like I didn't when smartphones came out, I thought they were stupid. I was like, why bother? I have a phone, I can call people and text people. What do I need a smartphone for?
Because you're a hipster, like.
Well, I didn't see the purpose, and now God,
I'm using a rotary, guys. Like,
Just carry it with me.
Yeah, I don't need your Razor phones.
No, I just didn't see the purpose. Well, because back then they didn't have so many functioning apps as they do now. Now you can order food and groceries and bank.
What
and
happened to Garfield phones?
I have no idea
Why?
what a Garfield phone is.
Like, okay, so maybe that's the kind of thing about like consumption versus like art. Is I think about highly consumptive like art like TikTok or whatever, and like
Right.
yeah, it's cool, like it's trendy or whatever, but it when I think of art, I think of something that like something that kind of like makes my life a little bit better just from it existing. But for TikTok, like it's very very low
caliber. Like
Caliber,
there's not
right.
a lot of
Right.
value to it.
even if I
TikTok.
find a good one, it's like, oh, this is funny for right this second, but then next week it's not going to be funny.
Right, you'll forget it. by
Versus
next
a
week.
Garfield phone, it would
I have
would.
no idea what that is. Please tell me what a Garfield phone
It's
is.
like it's a phone that's like Garfield, or like a burger phone.
What the hell are you talking about?
It's like I think it's Garfield holding a phone, or like it's Garfield.
Oh,
laying
I
down.
remember those.
Yeah.
Oh my god. No, nobody has those anymore.
I
I'm
know,
not
no
even
one-
sure if they make those anymore.
No, they don't make
because
them
no one
anymore.
has house phones, Zach. What the hell's the point?
If I could get a Garfield phone, I would only have a house phone.
That sounds like a weird way to live, you know? Like, if I think about it now, you would be so oddly disconnected from everything. The only way you would get like media or anything would be from getting on the internet at home or somebody physically calling your house phone, which I haven't done since I was a teenager. Like, I remember when people had house phones.
Yeah.
I remember when I had a house
Yeah,
phone.
I remember that too.
Which was such an odd thing. Hunter, there's somebody on the phone for you. And now, if someone was like, there's someone on the phone for you, I'd be mad. Like, why didn't you call my phone, asshole? Like,
Yeah, exactly. It kind of gives me like a weird experience because I've stopped social media.
Right.
I've been off of social media for a while now.
I just got back on, actually, this
Yeah?
month. Yeah.
How is it different? Like, how does it feel?
I feel really disappointed, honestly. I'm not in the way that, like, I hoped that there would be, messages or things that I could go back to and read through, but mostly it was, like, I got on, and I checked a few people's profiles, and I was like, nothing has changed. It's been, I think it was 3.5 months.
Yeah.
And nothing changed.
Yeah.
So,
nothing
I don't
changes.
even really get on anymore.
I've stopped. So I've stopped completely, like Instagram. I don't have a Snapchat. I literally just have a phone number. And I do have a forbidden app, but that's not necessarily... That's not the same thing as, like, Instagram. Or,
Right.
like, I don't have a TikTok. I don't have any of that. I see my girlfriend's TikTok.
Yeah. I see TikTok. I weirdly see TikToks on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most annoying thing to me because you scroll through Instagram and
It's
somebody
everywhere,
has
yeah.
like put a TikTok on Instagram. Like, I'm obviously not trying to look at this because otherwise I would be on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I kind of appreciate that. That 3.5 month hiatus from social media really, I guess, kind of opened my eyes to the fact that I was just, when I was bored, sitting and scrolling.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it, incredibly changed my life or incredibly, made me more productive. But I am more productive by at least a decent percentage.
I gotta be honest, like, it's really frustrating trying to have conversations with people because you can't have a conversation about anything because literally it's the same thing. Like, oh, that reminds me of this meme. Like, let me grab my phone. It's like, no, I'm trying to talk to you. Like,
right? We
I want to
don't have
know
do
what
this.
you think, not what your phone thinks. And like,
Right.
I feel bad for I feel like dumb for saying that. Like, I feel very boomer.
That is
But,
very boomery of you.
Yeah, it is very boomer. But like, it's true because I'm so sick of like, no, we can't hang out. I'll just text you because like it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as like actually.
I think texting has really changed the way that we that our generation thinks about communication.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so instantaneous, you don't even think about it. Like, oh,
Right.
I wonder what so-and-so is doing. I'll shoot them a text,
Yeah.
and then it's done. Like, you have communicated with
Right.
them. So it's not, oh, I should call his house and leave a message
Mhm.
and see if he calls me back. If he's free, it's, oh, if he's free, he'll text me. Or, like, instantaneous gratification through communication like that isn't really as personable, and I don't think we think about it as we should.
Right.
Like, I think it's become such a habit that we've depersonalized ourselves from each other. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And that's something that's interesting because, like when I was in school with friends that would talk about their online friends or whatever, like friends in my dad's day were very close. Like
Right.
they were friends. Like that was all they had. But now, like if you're like if you don't have any friends anymore, you just block them. Like that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's the amount of investment you need in this relationship with another person.
Yeah.
You don't need to know or care about their feelings. You don't need to
Right. They don't
know their
exist to
history.
you.
They don't exist. They're
Yeah.
basically an app.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because in the modern day, blocking somebody is way important. When I was younger, blocking somebody was like, okay, cool, bye, like, whatever. Nowadays, people take it very, very personally. Like, oh, you blocked me? Why would you do that? What did I do?
Yeah.
Something? Did I offend you? Yeah, well, I think we've really made our society quite impersonal, and it's not benefiting anybody truly.
Yeah.
And the pandemic isn't helping, obviously, but
Yeah, and this is outside the pandemic because it really it just like I say a lot. I didn't have a lot of friends, and people were
I think
very.
you said that like 4
I
times.
said it
now.
a lot. Yeah, people aren't very nice.
That's true.
And like,
yeah.
it's really sad because even now, there's not many people who like actually try to connect on like a real level.
Right.
And it leaves a lot of people sad because like life kind of sucks.
Yeah, and they don't. Some of them don't even understand why they're upset or
Yeah.
why they're depressed,
Right.
because they don't have that connection with people.
Exactly.
And they don't think about it in that fashion. They don't. they don't recognize that society is blows.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad to say, but it's true. Society is not a happy place.
No.
Um, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the way that we've treated social media. And now it's flooded with advertising. I think that was a big fall in society. We should never have allowed ads to be as prominent as they are. They are everywhere, on the TV, on the apps, on the store, on
So
Facebook.
like that's another thing. A lot of art now isn't like art trying to explore an idea. It's literally trying to sell you something. It's product placement. Like
oh God, yeah.
every single show is like, oh, we're trying to sell this thing, or like
right. They'll come up with what are those K-pop
mhm.
instantaneously for anything.
Yeah.
There are thousands of different ones, and people collect those things. It's not art per se. It's marketing. It's a company making money off of interests that you actually have,
Yeah.
which I think is unhealthy. It's not good, especially now that we have, the internet to deliver whatever you want to your door. That's
Yeah.
wild. You never have to leave your house, theoretically.
Yeah.
You could work online, get your groceries delivered. That's it. That's all you need to do.
Which in like reality, that's not like all this stuff that's delivered to you, all the stuff that you're doing, it doesn't just exist in the ether like with the internet. It exists in real life. People have to deliver those things. People
Oh,
have
yeah.
to do whatever. And like there'll never be a chance of you like knowing your postman ever because you won't want to talk to him.
Right. It would be odd if I saw my postman, honestly. I don't even know what time the postman comes. I
Yeah.
just get my mail and that's it, Like it happens to show up in the box, the magic box, and I take it out of the magic box and that's it. And I think a lot of people live in that sort of bubble, I guess you would say, that like detachment from the rest of society overall. Yeah. That's kind of a sad thing, honestly. I wonder what would happen if you say like Instagram and Facebook all shut down for like 2 weeks. Like what would happen to society? Would we be upset about it for a long time? Would it like really affect some people?
I don't know. I've thought about the same thing with like Twitter. Like you can't have a conversation without like people saying, "Oh, well, let me see what Twitter thinks," and like, because people really care about what other people think, and instead of
Right.
just thinking what they think themselves, I wonder what would happen if like Twitter shut down.
Right.
You didn't have all of these moral high grounds
God.
to look at, like, oh, this is bad or this is bad, and you're like, oh yeah, that's bad. Well, why is it bad? I don't know. It's just bad.
That's just bad. Straws are bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so upset about the straws thing. Not that I think it's a bad thing overall. I just think it's funny. That's the one thing that we focused on was straws. Of all the things that we pollute the ocean with, plastic bottles and whatnot, styrofoam,
Mm-hmm.
straws. It was straws. They were like, oh, we gotta ban straws.
Have you seen all that stuff now about like doubling up on masks?
No. Why?
Literally, they're telling you to wear 2 masks, one on top of the other.
That's the dumbest.
It is really dumb, and like, they're like my girlfriend's mom called her and was like, "Hey, I just saw on the news that coronavirus is deadlier, so you have to wear 2 masks now." And like, wow, you really heard someone tell you to wear 2 masks, and instead of just thinking, I as a individual thinking human being can say, no, like
That doesn't
like
matter.
1 mask is fine.
Right. It's
I'm
not.
clean. I wash my hands. Like I'm
It's
not
not going to
at
increase
risk.
effectiveness.
No, it's not. And like,
God. This is the problem with media. It's too easy to make an opinion that isn't your own.
yeah,
You don't have to make one. It's just, oh.
it's there for you, and it tells you which one is right. It says
Yeah.
this is the good one. So if
and
you don't.
and you get to see like how much hate is directed at the other people who disagree.
Right, because then you can say, "Oh, well, they're bad like, because they're not voting for the right one."
Oh God. No, I fully agree with that. There's just no way that we should be allowing ourselves to be influenced that way, and I don't understand why people want to influence other people that way. It's not healthy. Having a whole bunch of people who just agree with you is equally unhealthy as being completely alone.
Yeah.
Ugh. So we wanted to talk about social media. We pretty much covered that. We wanted to talk about art too. I personally think, and this is a not quite the most popular opinion, but I think that video games are the new means of art. I think that they are the
I
modern.
think they're past it. I think it's no longer a viable platform for art because now it's again consumption. So it's like, is this game pretty? Instead of like,
Right.
oh, is there an idea that I can explore here, or is there something new that I can think about? It's no. Is it how are the graphics?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. So you think video games are a dying art?
I think it's
Dead.
a dark art. Yeah, if not dead, yeah.
Oh,
I think
wow.
most art is dead at this point.
I mean, I suppose I agree with that. I mean, what direction are we even taking art? Is it all gonna be memes?
At this point, it's all gonna be meaningless. Like it has to be very commercial, just easily digestible, and then no actual freedom in art.
Or there's, too much freedom, I guess.
I don't mind too much freedom.
Well, I mean, it does encourage people to make, like, violent or bad art, I guess you would say, like, discouraging art, but, because a lot of
I feel like that's fine. Like I feel like if someone made an art piece where the message was, kill yourself, it's all meaningless. Like, I would want to see that art piece.
Just because.
Just because, like,
Right.
that's interesting. Like, wow, someone really
I mean, yeah,
set
that's
out
true.
and put all this effort into proving their specific idea.
Into trying to make me kill myself.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess I would have that curiosity too, that morbid, like, huh, I wonder if it will,
Right,
convince
exactly.
me to kill myself. I'm gonna look at it. No, that's interesting. I do miss the art of books because I don't really see a lot of good books come out anymore because they're not advertised like shows are.
Right.
I knew about the Mandalorian before that thing even started being filmed. Like
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Baby
There
Yoda.
you go. There's another art form that's ridiculous. You create a character in a show, and all of a sudden, it is everywhere.
It's the aesthetic of the character. Like, literally, that's it.
Oh my god. I got so sick of Baby Yoda memes and shirts, and I knew somebody who bought a Baby Yoda blanket. Like, dude, it's too much. It's a character. Calm down. I have nothing against people liking characters. What I have, the thing I am against is the over commercialization, taking advantage of people who care about characters.
Specifically, Baby Yoda.
Yeah, Baby Yoda's pretty bad.
I'd molest Baby Yoda. That's how much I hate him.
That's goddamn awful, Zach. What the hell?
Yeah.
It's always violence. It's always this terrible violence.
I wouldn't do it violently. It'd be like,
Dude,
hey,
no,
hey, Baby
no,
Yoda, do you
no,
want,
no,
do you
no,
want
no,
help
no,
on
no,
a
no, no,
swing?
Zach, no. You can't say shit like that. Good God. So we wanted to also talk about the difference in generations, because you were saying your dad used to watch a lot of movies, and even older than that, people used to go to the movies. That was what they did. They went to movies, they watched plays, they read books. That was all of the media that they had. Or the radio. Radio is definitely a dead art. That radio jockeys, I'm sorry if you're out there. Or
This is the closest thing to radio now.
podcast.
Podcast, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. kind of like shooting ourselves in the foot, dissing on radio because we're.
Well, literally, yeah. It's like there's no winning. You can't win whatsoever. So
Podcasts are an interesting art form. I think it is an art form. Not to toot our horn, we're not artists, but I think it is an interesting art form. There's a certain amount of, like, not theater, but playing. When you get on a podcast and you have to talk and make sure that you're.
But also,
participating.
like radio, it's very sincere. Like it's playing, but it's also like you gotta actually discuss issues.
Right, you have to be involved.
Right, you gotta do it. You gotta speak. You gotta say something that you think. It
Right.
can't just be like, oh, Twitter said this.
Right, we're not going to sit here and read tweets to you, otherwise that would be a very bad podcast.
Yeah.
But I think that we have branched out into a lot of generational things. You know, podcasts are very our generation. I don't remember ever listening to podcasts or anybody who ever did when I was in high school until way later, until most
Not
recently.
even like radio. Like my dad would listen to radio, like AM radio, but that's like my dad, like he's old.
But he's like old man, you know, like we don't. He's not.
Yeah,
cool.
he's like not cool, man. Like he listens to AM radio and
I tried to start listening to AM
and the
radio.
news.
Oh God, people who watch the news freak me out.
My grandparents watch the news like religiously.
I have no idea how they do that. Like I hate watching the news. It's not only boring, but it's ridiculously overdone. Plus, we live in Albuquerque, so every 10 minutes it's like, oh, there's another murder.
Exactly, yeah.
No, I don't think I could ever
What,
sit and
this
watch the
kid was murdered? This baby Yoda was molested by a local podcaster?
news. A local podcast hipster, goddamn. No,
What will happen next? Find out at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's weird to me that they have advertisements for news channels. I mean, I know that they make money on ads just like everything else, but it's odd to me to have to watch a news channel and they're advertising themselves on their own channel. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here. Like, you don't need to
Yeah,
do
just
that.
tell me what happened now. Like, did he touch the kid or did he not?
No, Zach.
Did he touch the baby Yoda?
No.
Did he use the
No,
force
no,
to touch baby Yoda?
That might be acceptable because I'm pretty sure that doesn't exist, so... But oh my god. What else is a generational thing? Driving is a generational thing. God. I know way too many people who don't drive and or got their license at very late in life. It's so odd to me because I couldn't wait to drive. I started driving at like 15. I wanted the hell out of my house all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Like I couldn't I can't believe.
I
I know.
I'm gonna stay away from that one, just because like, I know people who don't drive,
Right.
and they would be very upset if they heard me making fun of people who don't drive.
I'm confused by it. I don't understand the choice. Is mostly.
I don't understand the choice either, and like it's just, at a certain point, like it's hard to tell people like, hey,
Right.
this is the equivalent of like almost dying. Like it's like, wait, you don't want to drive? Well, you would starve to death in the wilderness. Like
Right. Like you gotta provide for it. And you know, in some cities, and maybe even here, I don't know about the bus schedule anymore. I used to drive the bus, but in some cities that's a viable strategy. You know, you don't have to drive. Like, you know, New York, you get to walk 6
right, or like
blocks.
the subway.
Right. You know,
Mhm.
you can travel across the whole damn island. But yeah, no, in our city where it's 20 miles wide, all flat, spread out, like you have to drive to get
right.
to most stores.
Right.
That or you can take like 6 buses because the way we have it set up does not make any sense.
No, our public transport is horrible.
It's so confusing. Like, okay, I have to take the 5, which takes this really
That
circuitous
poor guy
route.
at our work who got hired and then he got fired because he rode the bus. Like,
Right.
That sucks.
Yeah, that was pretty. I don't even remember his name. But yeah, that kind of sucks because he had to take the bus. What else is a generational thing? Banking. I don't go physically into banks.
I don't do anything physically.
You just don't do anything at all.
No, I what's it called? Like astral project myself.
You astral project yourself into the
Yeah.
bank, like
Yes.
scaring all the poor tellers with your ghostly apparition.
Yeah, exactly.
That's terrible.
I wear, I'm decent. So like I wear clothes and I show up.
I
and
would
I'm
hope
like,
you would wear
hey,
clothes. in
I know
your
I'm a little
projection.
bit see-through, but
It's fine.
it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Take my ghost papers. You need these.
Ghost papers. Don't worry about it. Technically, I physically can't touch Baby Yoda because I don't exist in the physical realm.
I wonder if we ever will get to a point where we can like holograms. We need holograms. Is really what we need. That's the new generational thing we need is holograms. Give me the like, oh, I'm gonna.
That's Zoom.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
Zoom.
like, oh, I want to meet with my boss. Oh, we'll just Zoom call.
I hate that has to happen. Honestly, I've never liked FaceTime. I used to. Oh God, what was that app? Marco Polo. Did you ever use that?
I never
app?
use that, no.
It's like a weird version of Snapchat, really. Like you send a video of yourself to another person, and it's like a video message walkie-talkie in a weird way. But yeah, I fucking hated that. It was so annoying. I'd have to sit there. Somebody's talking to me, but not in live time.
Right.
Which is the weirdest, stupidest thing.
Like you're talking like letters like, hello, Hunter. How was your day this 23rd of... I know your vacation. I can feel it. And...
yeah, it's just such an odd thing. But that's, I mean, it's also like Snapchat. I never understood, still do not understand Snapchat at all. I hate when people are like, hey, what's your Snapchat? Like, oh no, you're one of those people. You're going to have to
I used to understand Snapchat, but like now I don't have it.
Snapchat is prominent in the dating world in the way that it wasn't meant to be prominent in the dating world.
Yeah.
It's so confusing. People text over Snapchat, preferably. Like, I hate it.
It just, their stuff disappears and, like, they don't have to... You don't have to think about previous conversations. You don't have to think about anything. It's literally, like...
It's a highly disjointed way of talking, honestly.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, I think we're...
I'm starting to run out of steam a little bit.
Yeah, I imagine. You got off work today.
Yeah. I got a second job, and, so we're doing this later than normal.
It is very, very late, actually, yes.
But we're still doing this.
Yeah.
For you.
For you guys.
You, right
actually,
there.
It's a little bit for us, too. But, mostly
it's
for
you.
us.
It's for us to talk, because, like we said, we're sad, and we can't talk to people online, because that's sad.
Right. This is... I guess I'm, again, dissing on the thing that we're doing, which is putting a video of us live talking, not live.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, guys.
All right, let's give an opinion on this.
Yeah. I like Red Riot IPA, honestly. Actually, I don't think it's Red Riot. This is just Riot IPA. I've never had this one.
This is pretty good.
I like it. It's very hoppy. You can taste the rye.
It's not as like just normal La Cumbre.
Right.
It's not as like strong, or maybe like I don't know about alcohol wise, but like taste wise, it's not as strong as the La Cumbre.
It does taste somewhat like elevated. But it's definitely got a little bit of a rye hint to it, like it's supposed to. Riot. But I like it. I think it's one of the better ones. I've never had this before, but it's interesting. I would drink it again. But I like IPAs, so, some people do not. Some people hate them quite a bit.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell. Follow our Instagram. Zach's going to make a Twitter just for you. He's going back on social media. He's going to be the king Twitter, king tweets.
Hashtag touch Baby Yoda.
We're not giving him a Twitter. He's not
Yoda
going on Twitter at all. We're never allowing him to be in charge.
I'm already canceled on Twitter. Like, I haven't been on Twitter, but like already just me
I would
making
cancel
those,
you.
those,
I will make a cancel Zach hashtag.
I'm already
just
canceled for those Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda consented. And
okay, guys.
How old is Baby Yoda?
We gotta get out of here.
He's old. He's not a baby.
He's
okay?
like 50, but
he's
we
like
gotta
50.
go. We gotta get
All
out
right,
of here.
he knew what he was doing.
Oh no. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching.
We'll
talk to you next time. Bye.